Welcome back, my friends, to another insane criminal file. Today's story is as chilling and shocking as any fugitive we have ever covered, except this time, the killer didn't run far. In fact, he has already been caught after confessing to a rampage that left investigators stunned. Our story takes us to Grants, New Mexico, where a landlord's call for what seemed like a simple routine check would set off a chain of events no one could have imagined.
So this guy hasn't paid us since July, but with COVID going on, we couldn't evict him, so we've had nothing but problems with him. Anyways, we finally got him to move out, so I've seen him today. We haven't come by, we haven't messed with him. I'm afraid I'm chicken, you know. When I came by, he says, "I'm gonna leave you a pile to throw." Well, we didn't know which pile, so we started to load it up. While we were moving things, and we found this puppy in this box underneath some of the kid stuff, you know.
Okay.
So we go to put the puppy in the bag because we were going to bury it, and then we see that they had tied a cord on its neck.
Okay.
Well, we've had, like I said, nothing but problems with these guys, so I at least want to put a report on file. I know we won't be able to say who did it and when, but that needs to be associated with him, you know, because we're going to take him to court for a lot of other things, and if I can just have that on file, it'll help.
Okay.
What unfolded next would unravel into one of the most bizarre and disturbing crime stories in modern American history. This is the case of a man everyone thought they knew until they didn't.
Put that pistol on her head and I pulled the trigger.
This is the story of Sean Lannon and how an ordinary man became a serial killer. Oh, and before we dig in, remember I upload true crime breakdowns once or twice a week, so do your dad a favor and hit that subscribe button. Sean Lannon was born the 3rd of March, 1974. Public records show he grew up in the Northeast and later lived in New Jersey and New Mexico. Details about his parents and childhood are not publicly documented in court filings or the major press accounts. Investigators have focused on his adult life, but there is one event Sean says changed him forever. Back when he and his brother joined a local Big Brother mentorship program, they met a man named Mike Dapkowski, someone meant to be a role model. But Sean would later claim that something dark, something deeply disturbing happened during that time. And as you will soon see, Dapkowski's name will resurface in ways no one could have imagined. In adulthood, Sean Lannon seemed, at least from the outside, like any other family man trying to make ends meet. He married Jennifer Whitman in 2012, only 3 weeks after her first divorce. Together, they would go on to have 3 children. The couple eventually settled in Grants, New Mexico, after spending time in southern New Jersey, where property records show Lannon kept multiple addresses before the move. But behind the ordinary facade, things were far from peaceful. In 2015, Sean and Jennifer filed for bankruptcy in New Jersey. According to court records, the couple reported a combined annual income of just $13,000, with personal assets totaling about $14,000 and more than $550,000 in liabilities, including roughly $83,000 in student loan debt. Financially, they were drowning, and emotionally, things were only getting worse. Those close to Jennifer later described Sean as having a vicious temper, someone with a violent streak that surfaced whenever he lost control. Her family told reporters that Lannon was a control freak who emotionally manipulated her and tried to keep her under his thumb. Jennifer never filed any police reports, but her relatives say she often felt trapped. Her father later told investigators, "From what my daughter told me, the divorce was set up by her husband to scare her. For the 9 years they were married, he did every aspect he could to keep her under control." Law enforcement sources later confirmed that Lannon had a record of violence and a history of drug abuse back in New Jersey. Some reports even describe him as ex-military, though. When the couple divorced in 2019, Jennifer tried to rebuild her life while still parenting their 3 children, but the bond between them, for better or worse, wasn't fully severed. By 2021, that connection and the darkness that had always lurked beneath it would come to light in the most horrific way imaginable. Alright, so remember that routine call from a landlord back in early February 2021?
I just want to put a report on file. I know we won't be able to say who did it and when, but that needs to be associated with him, you know, because we're going to take him to court for a lot of other things, and if I can just have that on file, it'll help.
Okay.
Well, it turns out that around that same time, detectives were already knee-deep in another investigation, one that at first seemed completely unrelated. They were searching for Matthew Miller, a local man from Grants, New Mexico, who had recently been reported missing by his grandmother after she hadn't heard from him in over a week. Now, Matthew was well known around town. He was friendly, familiar to the community, but police also knew he had been struggling with substance abuse. So, at first, their assumption was simple. Maybe he had fallen back into old habits or decided to disappear for a while. But very quickly, investigators realized this was no ordinary missing person case.
So you guys can help me out by just calling around to hospitals, clinics, rehabilitation places, other county jails, and just see if he's there. So prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Okay. But I will tell you, I had more than enough to arrest Matthew several times. And he's not one of those people that I wanted to arrest. Matthew is not going to pull a gun on anybody, right? To get his drugs.
Yeah. No.
He's not that kind of person.
Yes.
When detectives began tracing Matthew's last known movements, his girlfriend came forward and told them something crucial. She had seen Matthew getting into a car with several other people. Among them were Jennifer Lannon, Justin Mata, and Leony Calzada. That detail flipped the case on its head. Detectives pulled CCTV footage from around town and managed to spot Matthew's gray Chevy Colorado just a few blocks away from the home of Justin and Leony. When they located the truck, it was in rough shape. Inside, they found a mess of personal items, clothing, tools, and towels all thrown around haphazardly. But what caught their attention was in the back, a shovel, and a pair of rubber gloves. That discovery pushed the investigation in a chilling new direction. The next logical step for detectives was clear: go talk to Justin and Leony. But what they were about to learn when they arrived would change everything, because Matthew Miller wasn't the only one who had vanished.
He's gone. He's gone.
He gone?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Okay. We're looking for Matthew Miller. He's been missing for over 2 weeks. When was the last time he was here?
Maybe a year ago?
A year ago.
When I first got this place? Yeah. When I first got it? Last February?
He hasn't been here since then.
I know
Okay.
very well.
What if I got video of his vehicle being
Maybe
here?
Justin hasn't here, man. When I was having myself.
Okay. You think Justin would have,
He would have, yeah, probably.
when you weren't here?
I wasn't here or I wasn't paying attention to anything. Because they said all that, yeah. But he left on 17th and came back. And then I went-
17th, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, and then I went to talk to the guy in King. He's like, yeah, they left each other. They're during the night and they're doing.
Do you have any kind of way to contact Justin? You have a phone number?
No, he left him to go.
Well, what's his phone number? Email,
He took
Facebook?
He took my phone and my phone. It's not working. Took my phone, yeah. Took away.
When's the last time you had any kind of communication with
That's
Justin?
when he said, go by Coke. So I'm go by Coke.
What I would like to do, all right, is look around your house for any kind of evidence of Matthew Miller, any kind of foul play, knowledge or anything other than that.
Investigators circled back to Leony Calzada for another round of questioning, and that was when she mentioned something that suddenly made the entire case take a sharp turn.
What's here before? Alright.
Arizona.
Who?
The 17th. She's supposed to mark up with
Arizona?
Yeah, with Jenny Cannon
As of the 17th of...
of January. He left us in his wife.
She told them that Justin Mata, her partner, had supposedly left her for another woman, a woman named Jennifer Lannon. That name stopped detectives cold. Because Jennifer wasn't just anyone, she was a woman who had already been reported missing weeks earlier by none other than her husband, Sean Lannon. That's when the pieces started falling into place. Sean Lannon was the same man whose landlord had called police just a few weeks earlier, asking for officers to check on a property he had rented after discovering what they thought was a dead animal and a disturbing mess left behind.
We're going to take him to court for a lot of other things, and if I can just have that on file, it'll help.
Okay.
So detectives decided to go back to that address, this time with a different perspective. They began canvassing the neighborhood, knocking on doors, asking questions and reviewing any available CCTV footage from the area. And what they found on those cameras left everyone in the room silent. Footage showed Matthew Miller arriving at Jennifer Lannon's home. He got out of his vehicle, walked up to the door, and that was the last time anyone ever saw him alive. He never came back out. But what's even more unsettling is what appeared next on the footage. A few hours later, cameras caught Sean driving away in Matthew Miller's truck. Then, later that same day, Sean was seen walking back into the neighborhood on foot. And just 2 days later, a man resembling Sean appeared again on camera, this time loading a red pickup truck with furniture, boxes, and household items like he was moving out. At that point, investigators had 3 missing people, all connected to one man. Around the 13th of February, investigators finally sat down with Sean Lannon himself, hoping to untangle the web of disappearances that was starting to spin out of control.
So, first things first, let's get her into this missing. Okay. Have you ever seen Matthew Miller? You know what I'm talking about? Was he over at your house?
It's been weeks, and I've been a case that's definitely been weeks.
Before the 3rd? Was his truck ever parked at your house? For more than like a day, overnight?
I'm not sure.
Have you ever driven his truck? You've driven his truck? When was the last time you drove his truck?
A couple weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago? So, but again, when did you find out that they split and took off to Arizona, ran away together, whatever?
It was 7 weeks ago. Came back, and we come back.
Did you have anything to do with Jennifer's disappearance, Matthew's disappearance?
I don't think
Do
they feel like
you think something bad happened to Matthew and Jennifer?
I have Jennifer drug and choice used to be when she came back with more bills than I could imagine. Like, she left those.
Man, I just got a really, really bad feeling about all this. You don't?
I do.
You don't seem...
I've been living in this circle for a minute.
Has she ever done this before?
Yeah.
What stood out most to detectives wasn't what he said, but how he said it. Sean was unnervingly calm. No panic, no hesitation, no sign of concern for the woman who was not only the mother of his 3 children, but also missing. At that point, investigators had no hard evidence, no DNA, no bodies, nothing they could use to hold him, just suspicions. So, for now, it remained an open missing persons investigation. But 2 days later, everything changed. Detectives received a call from Josh Hall, a friend of Matthew's. Now, police were already circling the right person, but the information they got from Josh would finally push the investigation in the direction it needed to go.
Hey, man, what's going on with Matthew, man? That's my chick's cousin. Check this out, man. Check this out.
That's all me.
Check this out, man. Yesterday, right, was at Kelly's. Right, Sean, he went to go talk to you. I guess he had to go talk to you or something. Talk to the cops. He goes in Kelly's in the garage, stashes them back in the ceiling. Gun, jacked his wife's IDs, some clothes, some others. Everything just stashes it there. Says he had to go talk to the cops. I was there. I was there. Sean killed all 3 of them, man. I'm telling you, he murdered all 3 of them people, man. He's putting it off on Martha that he ran off and everything. Why in the...
Yes.
I don't know, man. Kelly's like my sister. I know all it, you know? Killed all 3. I know he did, man. I know he did. He did, man. I'm telling you. Come on, they find the truck right by his house. You know what I'm saying? And was throwing a trip over his... You know what I mean? Like, Martha was... She was chick. Martha was... Yeah.
By himself. Get rid of the bodies.
He's a smart man.
He's kid.
Come on, look how long they've been missing for. He just barely reported his wife missing. His wife's been missing since like the 23rd. Since last month, you know what I mean? She's been missing the same time Matt's been missing. And after he left and everything, went to go talk to you, Kelly went in there and opened that strap, her IDs.
When investigators did track her down later that day, Kelly was hesitant, almost defensive, claiming she had already spoken to her lawyer.
Enough. Robert, Ben. The detectives?
Hi.
Ready?
Michelle hasn't gotten here yet. So, I talked to my lawyer, and he told me that I didn't have to go with you guys.
You don't have to.
What is it about? Can you tell me?
It's about the disappearance of
Who?
Matthew Miller and Jennifer Lannon. Sean Lannon.
Sean is not missing.
I know he's not. Was Sean here yesterday?
He came out yesterday.
How many times? What did he do?
He came inside. He told me that he had to go down and report Jennifer missing.
Did Sean hide anything in the house that was later taken?
Oh,
Did he destroy his phone?
yeah, right here. I forgot. He destroyed his phone.
Did he bring a bag inside that had a gun
No.
or any of Jennifer's identification cards?
I didn't
Did you look in it?
No, I didn't see. No.
Do you think he did something to Jennifer and Matthew?
I honestly don't. He doesn't seem like that type of person.
I think you're lying to me about the bag and the gun and Jennifer's ID.
I'm not. I don't know anything about. Like, he asked me. He said, "Where's
You didn't
my?"
bring anything in.
Yeah, no, I didn't see him bring anything in.
Eventually, she allowed them to search through some of Sean's belongings. But again, nothing. Sean was brought back in, this time in handcuffs, but not for the disappearances. He had an outstanding warrant from 2020 for battery and assault. Something that, in hindsight, made Jennifer's family's warnings about him hit even harder.
I have 3 kids.
I don't think you're capable of doing something like this. I think you're very capable of defending yourself, though. An accident happens.
If it was an accident, I would be like, that's self-defense, because self-defense is feasible, but literally, no. The biggest fear in my house, why the pistol stayed in the house, was Tato, like dog. Like,
Yeah.
that guy scares. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Yeah.
So,
Who told you to park it there? Justin?
Justin was there at the house, talking with, like, they're all chewing on the soup.
Who's all there?
Jennifer, Justin, and
Matthew.
Matthew. And he gets a boatload of pills from him. And they're like, we're going to go score. I mean, they had no money, nothing. They
So
had no
you
money.
take the truck and the kids.
No, they leave the truck and load it. I'm like, well, I need to go. Like, can I get some fucking groceries or some shit?
Okay.
And literally, I'm like, what do we do with the truck? He's like, leave it. I'm like, yeah, leave your shit here. Like, no. I was like, you're not going to park in front. No, I need to go to the dumpsters. I need to go to $1 for water. And, you know.
And so they told you in the house, when you're done with it, to park it at the Lubbock Apartments.
Matthew wanted to park it down the street. He says, no, my buddy's over there near the apartments. Just leave it there.
Did Danny kill him?
I have no idea. I literally spent most of my time with the kids. If I had to guess who would kill him, it would be the guy saying, if I'm going to dispose of bodies, I'm going to put him in my pig. And he showed me the pig one day because I was helping him at his house.
This is... Oh, sorry.
I don't have any answers for Matthew. I don't know much about him. Talk to Dog. If someone's going to move a body and put it somewhere, I guess the creepy dude that talks about pigs with everything but the eyeballs. I'm like, who would know that? Like, this dude's, I'm scared of dog. So, my kids are scared of dog. I'm scared of dog. I don't have to fucking be afraid of it. I'm ashamed of it. But we hid in the house. I didn't go anywhere. I definitely didn't leave my kids for 5 hours. Try and find the blood for the other one.
Still, the interviews went nowhere. Sean deflected, dropped vague comments about someone nicknamed Dog, and tried to shift blame away from himself. Investigators were sitting on a mountain of circumstantial evidence, but nothing solid. Until the 5th of March, that day, everything came crashing down. Police finally found the missing people, but not in the way anyone hoped.
That smells.
Kind of smells, but I mean, not to like decomposing or anything, you know what I mean?
I finally got you guys out here, huh?
Yeah.
We called it in by 1:30, but they said they didn't want to send anybody out here.
There's a pretty foul smell coming from the vehicle.
Yeah.
Every so often, I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I can't really tell what it was. It really sound like, I can't really think it smelled like decomp body or something like that, but I don't know. Yeah, I can smell something, but I can't really tell what it was. It also smelled like dirty, like deal, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. But we'll check for it and all that good stuff. So
Inside a red pickup truck, abandoned at the Albuquerque Sunport airport, officers discovered several containers. Inside were the dismembered remains of Jennifer Lannon, Justin Mata, and Matthew Miller. Jennifer and Justin had both been shot in the head. Matthew suffered multiple blunt force injuries, but there was a fourth body. In the front seat, police discovered Randall Apostolon, the owner of the truck, the same red pickup that Sean had been seen loading up and driving away from his home days earlier. CCTV footage confirmed what they already knew in their gut. The man who left that vehicle at the airport was none other than Sean Lannon. A multi-state manhunt began. Authorities warned the public that Lannon was armed, dangerous, and possibly on the move. Then came word from New Jersey. Another murder tied to the same man, the victim, Michael Dabkowski. The same man Sean had mentioned years earlier as someone who had changed his life. And now, police realized that connection was far darker than anyone could have imagined. So up until now, the evidence was undeniable. CCTV footage, DNA, boxes, containers, clothing. There was nowhere left to hide. After the public alert went out, Sean Lannon was finally captured and extradited back to New Mexico. And this time, there was no fake, teary-eyed interview or half-baked excuse. Lannon confessed, calmly, clearly, and without hesitation, to every single one of the murders. Investigators could finally close one of the darkest chapters they had ever faced.
Jen was already out with her. Was enough to take her life. So she wanted to make sure she went too, for sure. Because I realized she was breathing. She wasn't gonna OD. I went in the other room, psyched myself up, repeating that kind of emotionally charged statement of, you killed the Garrison baby. So I had whatever to do it. I put the pistol on her head, and I pulled the trigger. Just went all. A couple seconds later, I was positioned on the bed too. I put that pistol in my mouth. I handle up. Just slipped past with teeth. My son cried out. I was like, what do I do now? Pull the trigger, kid's gonna see both of our heads went off. I rolled up the rounds out of the gun, put it in the dresser. Closed the bedroom door, got the kids normal, set them up to be in the other room. We didn't have a vehicle. And John's boyfriend drove the truck on the car in. So I pretty much slid her into to a storage bed, a long one. The sheets that were around her, the bedding was in the bag, in the box too. A day later, I tried to dismember her to put her in containers. It didn't work. It was awful and traumatic. I was thinking about it. It still haunts me. I knew I was living on borrowed time at that point, so I needed to get my kids somewhere safe to come. So I continued with packing everything up, all the while still baiting just a month. He's responsible for the drugging and doing that to my kids. It took like a week. I came to the house. So I was in the laundry room, connected to the garage. That's where I killed him. Just before I killed him, he offered up a trade. His phone had pictures of Shawn Michael standing there naked in my living room. I don't know what his name was, the William or Matthew. Miller, whatever that his name is. With his on my son's shoulders. I was like, who sent you this picture? He's like, I don't know it's real. He's like, I took the picture. I was like, well, you took that picture. And he just admitted that's the guy in the picture. So, I said, there he is. You know, he was right over the fence where Jim was hiding her. He wanted to know if he could do a shot before he took his life. So I said, well, if you find any in the vent,
So he literally was lucky down in the vents. He didn't see it coming. A nice shot in the back of the head. It wasn't something I was proud of. He's a pretty tall dude. I had to dismember him at some point, a day or two later. It disgusted me. It was gross. I had to work up the nerve just to move his body. So there's so much blood. That's why I had to pull the floor up in that room. I saw a room that was, the flooring that was pulled up in the kid's bedroom. A piece of landlord never fixed the water leak. And the carpet got molded. It was unsafe. The carpet was outside the house, and so was the padding if they slept through some other reason. It was still there, but it took 2 hours before I had enough the ability to even go near Justin.
When you got Justin over there, was this shortly after? Like how long between the time that you shoot Jennifer, that you shoot Justin?
It was at least a week. It took a while.
Did you get him to come over?
I was baiting this if I was Jennifer on the phone.
Yeah. So you thought you was to meet Jennifer?
Yeah. I also had pictures of Daniel Lemos and my son. I never got my hands on Daniel Lemos. I fully intended. So I was heading back to New Mexico for work. Yesterday.
You know where Danny is?
If I did, it'd be in the box. So then I had the three of them. Probably that kid comes over, William or Matthew, or his name is. Comes over with Felicity, his girlfriend. She looked like she was like 12 years old. And they should her name on, they don't have to. So he's like, they're looking for money for anything. I'm like, I give you a food card. They're like, just take like $40. I was like, all I need is later in the week, give me a ride to get some water. And I've been less here for no water. So one of those times he came back, he didn't have Felicity. And that's when I shot him in the back of the head. I had one of his vehicles in Albuquerque. At some point he brought me the boxes and put them in the back. I couldn't open them up, I couldn't pull, it was not money to get the vehicle, so he was gonna take the truck back, so I found somewhere else for the boxes of base, storage containers. I was gonna hold them for $150. He wanted another $300 once we got to his place. Randy wanted another $300 to hold the boxes. So I didn't have $300. So he's like, well, I'm gonna drop you back off. So we left the keys, came back to the Pearl. The box was still in the back. Pulled in right there. We got in a fight. I killed him in the front seat. He was in the driver's seat. I took him to the airport the day before. And I positioned him. Just everything was the same. Secured the vehicle. Nothing obvious. And then took I believe it was an Uber. Took it home. Right to the Pearl. The next day we flew out. I'm waiting on time. Like, again, at some point they'd find the bodies at the airport in the box. And last thing on my list was the man that was me as a child, my big brother. Big brothers, big sisters, whatever. There you go, there's two. I wanted the pictures back. He didn't want to give me the pictures, so I started beating him. Then he gave me the pictures. It took his life. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that yet. I did fully intend on making it back to finish Daniel Lemos.
Or so they thought, because in that same confession, Lannon claimed responsibility for 11 additional killings, statements that the FBI continues to investigate to this day, none of which have been fully verified.
And so the other 11, you said started about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago? And you disarmed them from guns, and you said knives?
Knives, whatever. At some point, I had like almost like a pickaxe, but it was more of a pick. It's swung like a pickaxe.
Was like if you had to think back, like how many out of the 11 were shot and how many were stabbed? Like if you can elaborate on any of that.
2 were shot. 2.
And then how many were stabbed?
Where's the rest of them went out that way?
The rest of them. So 9.
Lannon was first put on trial for Mike Dapkowski's murder in New Jersey. In October 2022, he pleaded guilty and received a 35-year prison sentence 2 months later. After that, he was brought back to New Mexico to face justice. For the other murders, in May 2024, Lannon pleaded guilty once again, this time to the 4 New Mexico murders. He received 4 consecutive 15-year sentences, one for each victim. Under the plea deal, Lannon will first serve his 35 years in New Jersey, and only after that begin his 60-year combined sentence in New Mexico. Jennifer Lannon's family said they were grateful that justice was finally served, but no sentence could ever bring her back. They described her as a kind, gentle mother who loved her children more than anything, and who should have never crossed paths with the man who ended her life. And that's where the story ends, at least officially. But as we have learned, behind every shocking headline, our family is still trying to heal, and victims who deserve to be remembered beyond the horror of what happened to them. So, what do you think? Was Sean Lannon a product of untreated trauma, or something far darker, a calculated predator living free among us? Let me know your thoughts, or if you want me to dig into another case in the comments down below. And as always, stay safe, because the scariest monsters are often the ones that look just like us. Until the next insane criminal file. Thanks for watching.